Well, welcome again to St Paul's Church, Staverton, in deepest, darkest Wiltshire, and we're talking with David Briggs, and it's a huge pleasure to have you with us,
Absolutely.
David. We're going to carry on. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the moment, and particularly post-cathedral music.
Sure. Well, I moved to the US in 2003, amazingly 23 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So I became a proud US citizen in 2012.
Yeah.
Actually, I have two passports, red and blue, European, UK passport and an American. So I've been based in New York since 2017. And I'm actually something called Artist in Residence at St John the Divine. I love it there. I love what the cathedral stands for. It's the largest cathedral in the world in Gothic style.
Yeah,
601 feet long. And you can, it's the length of 2 football pitches actually. 10-second acoustic.
Oh my gosh.
Not quite as much as St Paul's, but almost.
No, yeah.
And it's an amazing musical setup there. Great. The cathedral choir is 18 pros.
Yeah.
They sound like the tennis scholars, really. They can just do anything. And then we have the cathedral chorale, about 40, who are not paid, but they're auditioned. Very, very good. And we have 40 choruses, girls and boys, who join, now and then kind of thing. Yeah. It's not like St Thomas where they sing 3 times a week. 3 times during the week and weekends. So I get the best thing about really St John the Divine is when I'm in town, which is about half of the year, I get to go in and rehearse and record.
Yeah.
So and I love that actually. You're kind of really aware of the enormity of God's creation, but also His presence with you as an individual. It's an amazing sort of dichotomy in a way.
And as artist in residence, what does that mean in terms of your working week?
Oh, not much.
Or your working
maybe 4 weekends a year.
Okay.
And 6 concerts a year, something like that. A bit of outreach. Yeah. So it's actually funded externally. We have 12 incredibly generous donors. Yeah. So I don't cost the cathedral anything. They have a very full-time music department anyway with Kent Treitel, my friend who's the music director, Dan Ficari, who's a brilliant 29-year-old associate. He made my Christmas this year because I heard him play a wrong note. And I put my arms around him and I said, "This is so great. You made me so happy." Because I thought he was kind of superhuman. But and there's Brian Zaros, who's the associate choir director. We have an excellent organ scholar who's at Juilliard. So it's a
well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it's very nice. But I love what the cathedral stands for. I love its inclusivity. I love the liturgical stand of the cathedral. It's everything's very big scale and beautifully done. With smoke at appropriate occasions. I get to play on Christmas Eve and Easter every year. It's unbelievable. The nave's full to the we have these massive bronze doors at the back, and I don't know how many, probably 2,500 people, something like that.
Wow.
With them belting out Jesus Christ has risen today, underpinned by the Aeolian Skinner. It's something, incredible. I'll tell you. Yeah. And for me, that's really what cathedrals are about, is the transcendent. Giving a glimpse of the reality of what we're all heading towards, and even just a tiny glimpse through the keyhole is what I think cathedrals should be doing. And it's all really about beauty. Yeah. I mean, real beauty, not superficial beauty, but actually the beauty that, goes into the spaces that we're born with in a way. So these are difficult times for cathedrals, I'm hearing, in the US and here as well. And I just hope that, during our lifetimes, I hope that people will, again, really realize the value of really beautiful worship, you know, and how that it can really kind of change people's lives in a very meaningful way. And I mean, I'm actually the Dean of Toronto when I was artist in residence at Toronto for 5 years before coming back to New York. Doug Stout, he did his PhD at King's, Cambridge. He's a bit older than I am, but he was there before. But he said the King's Choir sang Lockosy Day of Bruckner. He went to it. It was a Friday evening song, and it was that moment when something happened that he decided he had a calling to be ordained. And you know, I think this can happen with cathedrals. You know, it's very, very powerful. So it's the kind of inverse of Starbucks religion for me. You know, I think the preaching has to be great, and the preaching at St. John the Divine is fantastic. But music you never really know what effect you're having on people. You know, at the deepest level, I think.
There's a sort of magic triangle, I always think, between building, music, and liturgy. And when those three are totally in harmony with each other, it's a really powerful thing.
And I think it's, you know, when you're, as it were, in the engine room every day, you can, you know, it's easy to kind of lose sight of that. I remember at King's, there was this sort of feeling that even a February evensong, when it's misty and cold outside, you know, and you don't, you know, you've got a lot on, but you have to go and do evensong. And the ethos there is really that the level has to be as high as the 9 Lessons and Carols, you know, with 35 million people listening. Because there could be somebody in the congregation who hears King's Choir once in their lifetime.
Absolutely.
From San Francisco or wherever, and that could be the day. So, you know, bam, there you are. And I think that's a great training, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a fine discipline.
I always remember when I was at Bristol, my early days of my career, and I went into Evensong one day and David Wilcox was sitting in the congregation.
No pressure there then.
No pressure there. Luckily the Evensong went very well, but I suddenly thought to myself, my goodness, that could happen any day of the week.
Right, absolutely. I remember playing Evensong at King's once and Wilcox was in the organ loft.
In the organ loft?
Yeah. Whew. I said, can't you just go away? You know? Anyway, I played the Vierne B-flat minor toccata afterwards. And I'd been pressing it hard. The copy was, the last page was like a little bit torn. Yeah. Anyway, aforementioned deputy head chorister was turning my pages, kneeling on the organ bench. We got to da-da-ba-da, you know, it goes kind of crazy at the end in B-flat minor. This chorister turned the page, and the whole copy went bam onto the floor or onto the pedal board or something. You know, Wilcox was sitting on the bench right behind. Luckily, I knew it by heart, so it was all right. And I remember DVW said to me, leaned forward and said, yes, good job you knew that, wasn't it? And I remember David came to, and he's Cornish, you know, he was born in Newquay, and he came to Truro in my time. We did one of these big messiahs, and David conducted it. He was amazing. He had 800 people eating out of the palm of his hand. It was extraordinary, actually. And he had this superhuman hearing. I mean, if somebody sang a wrong note, you know, in the altos, like 13 rows away, he knew who it was. He had this, like orchestral conductors have this, apparently, you know, if the second clarinet plays a wrong note, they're kind of on it. Amazing, really.
I think Christopher Robinson's got the same.
I think he probably has, hasn't he?
Yes, I think so.
I know, but actually, talking of playing from memory, my first evensong as organist of Truro was January Epiphany evensong, 1989. Marilyn, how lovely are thy dwellings, Brahms. Even then, I really kind of preferred playing the organ. So we split the evensong. I had a wonderful assistant called Henry Doughty. He'd been there 20 years. Absolutely wonderful guy. Immensely helpful to me in my first year and a half. Anyway, so Henry played the Murrell, and then we got to the second set of responses, and we swapped. And I went upstairs and played the Brahms, and Henry conducted it. So the rehearsal went without. It was fine, no problems, without much ado. Got to the service, the choir was singing the Smith responses, got to the last response, and then the Brahms starts. All good. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, all good. Page 5, page 9. Jason, and I'm not going to say his surname because I will get probably into terrible problems. But he was a great head chorister with a gorgeous Cornish voice, really a beautiful sound. Anyway, Jason had doctored my copy in the gap, and he removed the middle 4 pages of the Brahms.
Swine.
Anyway, I knew it. So they were going. I knew it, and so it was like fine. And do you know what I said to him? Nothing. I just beamed at him, and he looked me in the eye and went. So I achieved some modicum of street cred early on,
Excellent.
But it was a good. That actually happened. I didn't make that up.
Scary.
That's amazing.
Scary.
That's amazing. I had a similar. I was
go on,
just
you
going to
carry
say
on.
I had a similar experience when I was organ scholar at Jesus, and we were doing Insane et Vane Cure.
Yes.
And in those days, I was on my own as organ scholar, so no one conducting. I just went up and played, and so I rehearsed it downstairs without the organ, and then for the service went up and played it. Suddenly realised that the copy had about 3 or 4 pages missing in the middle.
Nice.
But again, luckily, I could remember how it went. But
That's wonderful.
it wasn't a chorister that removed them, thankfully. It's just.
There was one other brilliant thing that happened on a Tuesday even song in Gloucester once. Dyson in C minor, trebles, voices, boom, 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 boom. The young Luke Bond, who's now, incredible assistant organist of St George's, Windsor, he was the organ scholar. I used to like doing my kind of harmonies during the Psalms. So we did the Psalms, and then I went down in the first lesson, went down to my stall, and then, here ends the first lesson. Stand the choir up. Silence. So I look at the camera, again, complete silence. 5 seconds later, Luke running down the organ loft stairs, underneath the choir screen. Oh, Mr. Briggs, I think you've got my copy.
So you played the Psalms
and I took the copy. Yeah. Oops.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
So now I noticed that you are all over the place, and I mean all over the world really, and I'm quite fascinated to know how you organise your programme of events. You're flying all the time, but I know you're a very keen flyer. Do you organise it all yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very privileged, to do what I do. I really love it. And somebody in Truro last week said, "Whoa, you obviously seem to like it down here. Are you planning on retiring down here?" I said, "What, retiring? What's retirement? I don't want to ever retire." And I told her, "I'm just getting going,
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate, to have, a fair amount of energy, and I totally love what I do. I love the music, but also equally as much as that, I love meeting people and then maintaining friendships. Because making music is all about this, isn't it? I think we can really make society better through music, and there's nothing like these. I love my friendships, and so I'm very fortunate. I also do a lot of composition. In fact, next week I'm starting. I've been commissioned to write a new St Matthew Passion. 85-minute with orchestra and big choir and gospel choir. It's by Belmont University in Nashville. It's a sort of combined thing with St John the Divine. The premiere is going to be in spring of 28, so there's plenty of time. But I'm really excited about this. It'll be my biggest piece to date, anyway. Sort of expanded Bach orchestra. They have 9,000 people at Belmont, 3,000 of whom are studying music.
3,000?
3,000.
Goodness me.
It's country and western, of course, the centre of the world, country and western. A lot of pop, a lot of music theatre, a lot of electronic music, as well as they have something like 12 different choirs. And I mean, the best university singers are magnificent. They sing everything by heart. Really, really great. So I'm excited about this. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing. And over the years, you've had this sort of, I don't know, love affair's the right phrase with Cochereau.
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever hear Cochereau play?
Yeah, once. It was in August 1980. We were on a summer vacation in Paris, and I knew about him for. Since I was a little boy, but this was amazing. I mean, the place was packed, and the dean of the cathedral announced "Et maintenant au grand orgue Pierre Cochereau" before the sortie, and it was, I'd never heard anything like it, And for the postlude, for the sortie, nobody moved.
Yeah,
it's like 1,500 people just sat there, or stood up and faced west, and I mean, he was like a rock star,
It was astonishing.
But we never met in person. But for 11 years, I transcribed a lot of his improvs.
Yeah.
And, if you do that, you get to feel quite close to somebody's spirit, So Madge, my wife, and I go to Paris every year. We've done for 22 years. And one of the things I like to do is I take care of his grave, in Belleville. So he's probably the person who marked me the most as a musician. Yeah. He didn't really like composing. I think if you'd have had Sibelius software and more time and less stress, he probably would. But he didn't want to be judged as a second-rate Dupré, Duruflé, Ducasse, Debussy, Ravel. Yeah. But I really believe that when you hear Cochereau, you hear 5 seconds, you can tell his harmonies immediately. He had his own sound.
Sure.
And I think it's kind of a shame that he didn't compose a symphony of orchestra or chamber music or songs or something like that. He just didn't have time. Yeah. He was very stressed, he was very hyper. So in my own very small way, I suppose that because I sort of have taken on, I suppose, elements of his harmonic language particularly. And so I kind of blend that with what I want to say for myself, and that's what I do when I write. It's kind of that slant, if you will.
Sure. Yeah.
And what do you think it was about his harmonic language that fired you up? I mean, there was something slightly maverick about it, wasn't there, in a way?
Well, yeah, he did everything. I mean, he could be really razzle-dazzle, like he loved sports cars, and he was on the Air France Concorde, the first one from Paris to Dulles. Yeah. He was in the top 100 flight members of Air France. As an international traveller, he was really, as they say in French, a vedette. He was a star, but he was also, I think, a very warm, generous person, especially to young people. Yeah. There's a wonderful sense of humour as well. But I think so. You have the kind of razzle dazzle, that which I think you're referring to, but also you listen to his adagios, and they're just so enriched and generous, and so that I find equally as appealing, really. And I suppose that harmony it comes really from Debussy and Ravel. That's the germ of it. But then he somehow or other he finds his own sounds, and I love the way that the Cochereau harmony always rises. It's always doing a sort of harmonic crescendo, going on to new plateaus of tonality, and the way that he does that through modality and all sorts of octatonic techniques and Gregorian chant as well. But I love the way that his harmony is always, it's never static.
No.
And I think Lenglet said to me when I was studying with him that on ne peut pas improviser l'improvisation. In other words, you have to really have a plan and a development, and if it's static, it kind of gives the game away. That an improvisation should always sound as close as possible to a written, fully formed piece.
Hard to do,
but not impossible. And I mean, I think it's a gift. So people have a freer oscillation between left and right brain. Now, in an ideal world, it's a kind of really very fast and fluent link between organisation and structural concepts, and utter freedom. And I love that.
Yeah. I've always found when I'm improvising that what I quite like to do is, I mean, it does need to be planned, but also there's something very exciting about just letting the moment...
Going off-piste.
Going off-piste, exactly. And I think that's the most exciting thing.
Yeah. And
in a way.
Absolutely right. Yeah, you can suddenly have an impulse and there it is.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is that, it should never go on too long. That was Langlet's big thing. Never too long, never sort of too... Because it's an illusion. You're really trying to give the illusion of a written piece. And for me, I think the stuff that I compose and the stuff that I improvise, it all really comes from the same place.
Sure.
But with the software, you can polish things and move things around, and I do like doing that. The basic thing happens pretty quickly. It's interesting. I'm very impulsive as a composer, so very fast, maybe a little too fast sometimes. My eldest daughter, Carenza, is an incredibly successful and talented young composer. But we're sort of a little bit different in terms of our impulse, because she takes more time, and is very, very choosy, I would say. But the result, I mean, it's amazing what comes out.
She's written some wonderful music.
Hasn't she, though?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
Must be.
No.
Yeah.
She's a big name for the future, I think.
I think so.
Oh, yes, definitely.
She's great. And she has, I mean, a kind of similar language, but it's actually completely different.
But she's got to be influenced by you at the same time.
So maybe subconsciously, I don't know. But she's a fully trained composer. I've never had a composition lesson in my life. I learnt harmony and counterpoint and fugue and everything.
Yeah.
Cambridge, of course. Got my tool bag.
Yeah.
But in terms of composition lesson, no, never. So I don't know if that's a good thing or I just do what I want.
Yeah.
Long may that happen, David.
Indeed.
And thank you.
This is such fun. I'm lovely to see a beautiful space.
It's so good to have you here.
Absolutely, great pleasure.
It's been a joy to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. Bam! We're done.
Brilliant.
It's a wrap.
Good.
Fantastic. It's a wrap.
That was fascinating.
That was great.
Yeah. All right.
Really great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Have you got time for a pint then?
Where are you going?